everyone, it's Rob from Eltham Bookshop, just here to tell you a little bit about some of our local authors this month of October, which for us here at Eltham Bookshop is Local Author Month. So I just thought I'd take a little moment to tell you a little bit about each of the books that I've got in front of me here and some of the wonderful authors behind them. Thought I would start off by telling you a little bit about Kate Mildenhall, which you've got to have heard about. The Mother Fault making massive waves in fiction at the moment. Of course, Kate's first publication was Skylarking, which is a historical fiction story. Here, with a departure in style, have a very fast-paced lightning bolt of a book about Nim, whose husband goes missing. He works in mines offshore, and she has to pack her kids up and find out, get to the bottom of what's happened to her husband. So, fisherman friend themed. We might know that Kate Mildenhall actually researched this book by sailing a yacht herself to Indonesia. So some really authentic research, and Kate's a local to Eltham, so you've got to get your hands on a copy of The Mother Fault. We also have Tess Evans here on the table with a couple of her books, which were published a few years ago. She's currently working on her 5th book, I believe. Mercy Street, just underneath here, is one of her first, and obviously you've got The Ballad of Banjo Crossing from 2017. Tess is local to Eltham. Ballad of Banjo Crossing in particular is a tender, heartwarming and really appealing novel about the power of community, love, loss and second chances set in the Australian outback. So if you love outback stories, you'll love The Ballad of Banjo Crossing. Moving across, we have a name that needs no introduction, Alexis Wright, just here with Tracker. Alexis Wright is a One Year Nation author of who's won the Miles Franklin Prize with Carpentaria. She's also won with Tracker, she won the Stella Prize. She's the only author, I believe, to win both Miles Franklin and the Stella Prize. A phenomenal achievement. She's also written the Swan Book, and has published 3 works of non-fiction, including Take Power, which is an oral history on Central Land Council, Grog War, a study of alcohol abuse in the Northern Territory, and of course Tracker. She's wonderful. She dropped in the other day to pick up some books, so you've got to come out and support Alexis Wright, who was recently named the Bouvier Chair in Australian Literature at the University of Melbourne. Moving up here, you'll see this little book, which is a recent release pushed by Nillumbik Arts and the Council. These Tiny Threads has local contributors. A shout out to Lucinda Bain. It's a move by the Shire to build some local community solidarity. It's a great way to memorialise these times, not for the hardships, but as a way of remembering the common threads that have really kept us strong through the last few months, and the words that we've read to sustain us as well. So if you're looking to read some emerging talent, I recommend this book highly. You've got Greg Bailey as well, living in Melbourne, living locally. Greg is a writer who spent many years teaching Indian and Buddhist studies at La Trobe University. He has travelled widely in India and Nepal, continues to write ancient and medieval Indian history and contemporary Australian politics and culture. In Search of Bliss, I think, is a great gift idea for someone who has a birthday in October or November, or if you're thinking ahead to Christmas and they're quite interested in Buddhism or spirituality. Another great gift, speaking of books that draw on Eastern traditions, Trevor Hay is one of our local household names, very proficient at writing cross-cultural exchanges between China and Australia. His most recent book here, Tengu, is a fiction, which is set in the outskirts of Melbourne, about Roy, who comes into contact with ghosts on both personal and a incorporeal level. So really nice contemporary novel there, but with mixture of magical realism. Trevor's written quite a few other books too, which I recommend hunting out. Anne, where is Anne? I think we've got Anne Connor. Yes, we do, with 2 generations just sitting here. This is this is a memoir, actually, which she published in 2018. It's an exploration of very familiar, lived familial impacts of secrets and suffering and forgiveness, hope and redemption. It's a really familiar tale for a lot of our families, but it's an imaginative retelling her family stories after the war. So that's a really wonderful historical story. If you've got someone in the family who's right into Australian history stories, for someone in the family or a friend birthday who is into mental health or exploring the history of mental asylums in Victoria, Sandy Jeffs, just here, you'll see that beautiful, almost stained glass front cover of her new novel, Out of the Madhouse. She's a local author from Christmas Hills, and she wrote this together with Margaret Legatt about the heart of Larundel, and she takes the voices of former inmates and staff to expose the best and worst aspects of the mental institutions of those times. That's a fascinating read. And the thing I love about all of these books, especially our local fiction and history writers, you pick them up and you all of a sudden discover all of the other books that they've read. It's a real rabbit hole of their local work and a great way of building local literary networks. We're also blessed with a strong community of artists, and I hope you can see here some of our picture books. So some of the artists and local children's writers are those such as Penny Harrison, who's written Extraordinary. Now, Extraordinary is a book that celebrates the best moments between friends and family. You know, these may just be ordinary, but some of the most ordinary moments we have are the ones that we cherish forever. So this is a really wonderful reminder of that. Also, Anna Walker, local writer, has produced Hello Jimmy. Jimmy is the parrot in this book. Hello Jimmy is a really great story for, I think, a dad and son to read together. It explores the things that can sometimes push boys and their dads apart, but ultimately bring them closer together. So this is a really heartwarming tale, beautifully illustrated. Hello Jimmy, just there. Moving down the front, we've also got some other ones for budding readers. Vicky Conley is a celebrated local author. I'll just jump over here and grab some of hers. You've got The Lost Mustache, and also down the front here we've got Little Puggle's Song. These two together. Lost Mustache asks the question, who loses a mustache? And you've got to solve the mystery of where has this mustache come from. Little Puggle's Song is a charming tale about Puggle the echidna, who just wants to do one thing. He wants to sing. And it asks, does he find his voice in time to join the bush choir? So that's a really lovely, heartwarming tale. Both of them are delightfully quirky. And also Elizabeth Vercoe is just up the front here with Mac the Dog Man. I think this is a great book for any kids. Got a great relationship with their pets, especially dogs. This is a widely appealing journey about Mac and his dogs. Choice read for any kid who's right into animals. But we don't just have great writers of kids' picture books. We've also got some really great local talent who are producing 8 to 12 readers. I had the pleasure of meeting Zana Frylon yesterday with her books such as The Lost Atlas, and also you've got The Bone Sparrow just down the front. Zana has written Lost Atlas about Twig, who bands together with Flea when his father goes missing. But then, although they live in poverty, they're okay as long as they have each other until Twig wakes up one day, can't remember what's happened, only has a raven and a mysterious lost atlas. Has to find his way back. Bone Sparrow, similar, well, a little bit different actually, is a great way to introduce kids to local issue or political issues. It's about a refugee named Suvi, and I think that's a really nice soft introduction for the world around our children. As you can tell, I'm surrounded here with great authors. I'm very lucky to be able to have my own book here at Eltham. I wrote In the Company of Madness, which is a historical fiction story based on a true story in colonial Tasmania. 3 Irishmen who were born at the same place but grow up to be a soldier, a priest and a convict. And it asks the question, what has to happen in someone's life for them to become the person they are? Is it fate or something else? I've written a previous novella that's set locally in the Kinglake Ranges, and I really enjoy writing about our Australian history. As you can tell, we have a great community of authors here at Eltham Bookshop, and I'm afraid I can't possibly mention everybody, but here are just a few that represent this thriving arts community that we're a part of. I know these books have sustained me through this year. They've probably sustained you too. But don't stop now. It's only October. Please come out and support our local writers. For more information on the writers here and anyone else that I've missed, you've got to check out our Life and Times profiles on our social media channels, Facebook at Eltham Bookshop. Until the 31st of October, so the end of the month, if you buy a local book by a local author, you'll go into the running to win a bag of books. So I can think of no better reason than to buy a local book. And for Kate's as well, if you buy a copy of The Mother Fault this month, you can go into the running to have a Zoom chat with either yourself or your book club to discuss Kate's writing with her. So get on the phone, 9439 8700. Give us a call, and we'd love to connect you with some local literature. Look forward to seeing you at the door. Thanks, guys.